Red Bull have finally had a taste of losing, and Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff couldn't be any happier, letting out a few unsavoury comments about Red Bull in a recent interview. That, and Lewis Hamilton answers the age-old question, is Red Bull dominant because of Max Verstappen or Adrian Newey? Be sure to stick around till the end for that one. Ferrari put an end to Red Bull's unbeatable run by securing an impressive victory at the Singapore Grand Prix thanks to Carlos Sainz. Sainz managed to maintain his lead even when faced with intense competition from the Mercedes pair of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. The race was nothing short of sensational, as the top four contenders were separated by a mere 2 seconds in the final stages of the event. On the flip side, Red Bull had a tough weekend, marking their most challenging performance of the year. Both Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez couldn't make it to Q3 in qualifying. Verstappen managed to bounce back and secured a 5th place finish, while Perez ended up in 8th place. Nevertheless, neither driver was in the running for the top spot in the race. Toto Wolff called the first non-Red Bull triumph of the 2023 F1 season as a much-needed breath of fresh air for the sport, telling the media that I think they, Red Bull, have been so strong. They've won all races this year. We must not forget we have this outlier here in Singapore, which was a difficult track for us in the past in dominant years. I have no doubt that they will be strong for the conventional racetracks. It's a breath of fresh air that we have a different winner. We have a podium without them, so you've got to take the small positives in a year of Red Bull dominance. Mercedes F1 team has faced criticism for their absence at the Singapore Grand Prix celebrations, especially when Lewis Hamilton clinched the 3rd spot on the podium, which in the context of Red Bull's dominance is cause for celebration. What's even more upsetting is that this isn't the first instance this season, as the Brackley-based team was also notably missing from the Australian GP festivities. The 7-time world champion was spotted celebrating alongside the Ferrari and McLaren teams instead of his own, as he shared the podium with Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. Needless to say, this move didn't sit well with fans. Despite this, Lewis Hamilton displayed just how classy he is by not making a big deal out of it. He even extended his support to George Russell following his heartbreaking crash at the Singapore Grand Prix. For those of you who missed the race, here's how it played out for the Silver Arrows. Mercedes made a bold move in the closing moments of the race, opting to pit both drivers for fresh medium tyres. Their gamble was based on the belief that this strategic choice would give them the speed advantage needed to recover lost time and contend for the victory. This strategy looked promising for a brief period, with Hamilton setting the fastest lap and both British drivers swiftly closing the gap on Charles Leclerc. They managed to overtake Leclerc without much trouble and found themselves hot on the heels of Lando Norris. However, time was running out for their pursuit. On the last lap, as Russell pushed aggressively in his quest for victory, he made a crucial error and grazed the barrier on the inside of a corner. This sent his car careening across the track, ultimately resulting in a collision with the Tech Pro barrier on the opposite side, unfortunately ending his race in a cruel twist of fate. Hamilton acknowledged that Mercedes would have needed an additional 5 to 10 laps to make their strategy work and secure a race win. Nevertheless, he commended his team for their bold attempt. When questioned by Sky F1 about the possibility of a Mercedes victory this weekend, Hamilton responded by saying, "It's all in hindsight, but I think the thing I was disappointed with was, yes, George was so close to pole yesterday. I should have been on pole yesterday. But then we had a good race. The race was kind of textbook. The team did a great job with the strategy. I'm in my element in the race. It's just qualifying needs to get better. George was great all weekend." But yeah, I think as a team we risked it at the end and took a chance, and I loved that the team was doing that. But it was a big gap to close up. It's definitely hard to overtake those guys at the end of the race, but probably needed another 5-10 laps, and I think we would have got them. Hamilton found himself in 3rd place, securing a spot on the podium after Russell's misfortune. Meanwhile, Russell left the race empty-handed and was visibly emotional when speaking to reporters, expressing his feeling of disappointment for possibly letting down his Mercedes team. During the post-race press conference featuring the top 3 drivers, Hamilton conveyed his empathy for his teammate and offered his unwavering support. "We are all trying to be millimetre perfect out there, and it's very, very easy to make mistakes. It's easy for any of us being in the position George was in. He had been driving phenomenal all weekend, so it was really unfortunate for him last lap to finish that way. But he continues to grow and improve. I know that he will keep getting stronger and faster. If there is any way I can help him be a part of that over the next couple of years. I have a lot of experience. I've been here a long time. Putting together a race is not that it's easy, but the race is where I'm most comfortable on track. It's just about keeping your head down. If you look at last year, I made a mistake at turn 7 and went off and crashed in the wall. It can happen to any of us. It's just one of those things. Russell's comments on his drive were saddening, to say the least. He said, "No words, to be honest. Such a long and difficult race. Difficult to keep concentration when Carlos was doing a great job backing the pack up and not allowing us to do the alternative strategy. I think we were half a car's length from winning the race had I got past Lando when I had the opportunity. I think we'd have been able to get past Carlos. On the last lap, a millimetre's lapse in concentration and it's game over. I'm so sorry to the whole team. It was a really challenging race with the tyres dropping off, pushing the limits. It's how racing should be, and you make a small mistake and you're bitten for it. It's heartbreaking after such a great weekend. The car felt great, qualifying. The race was great and we were bold with the strategy. I feel like I've let myself and the team down. It's tough. We'll be back." When discussing his goal to enhance his performance over a single lap, Hamilton was questioned about whether any alterations were necessary with the Mercedes W14 for that improvement to occur. However, Hamilton refrained from putting any blame to the car and instead emphasized that the catalyst for improvement lies with him and his own efforts. He said, "It's clearly not just the car. George, as I said, was on the front row. So I think it's me. It's just my driving style. It's changes that perhaps I'm making. It's a lot of different things. So I need to look into that, and I will, naturally, keep my head down, keep pushing, not satisfied until I get back there." Lewis Hamilton emphasized that Mercedes as a team must collectively elevate their performance to challenge Red Bull in Formula One for the upcoming season. Despite some off-track exchanges between the two long-standing rivals in recent times, Hamilton made it clear in the lead-up to the Singapore Grand Prix that he held great respect for the achievements of Red Bull and Max Verstappen. He also stressed that the responsibility lies with Mercedes to bridge the gap. Speaking at Marina Bay, Hamilton had an interesting conversation with the media, which went as follows. "I was just asked a question earlier. Would you rather take Max out of the equation or take Adrian Newey out of the equation?" Or something like that. And I was like, neither. We just have to level up and do a better job. They have done an exceptional job. You can't fault them for the amazing work that they collectively are doing and have done. I would just want to level up all of us. Let me throw the same question to you. Would you rather take Max Verstappen's flawless driving out of Red Bull or Adrian Newey's engineering genius away from the RB19? Tell us which one and why in the comment section down below. And, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.